So another critical set of subcortical nuclei. Again, this is gray matter located below the cortical surface. And they're going to be on the left and right side. Are these networks of interlinked nuclei, interlinked subcortical nuclei that form a set of structures that's given the name the basal ganglia. And I always apologize in advance for the terminology, because a ganglion, right, is a clump of gray matter that we described that is typically in the peripheral nervous system, so it's not inside the brain. But these particular, nuclei in the brain, this set of nuclei, came to the attention of neurologists very early, because if there's a disruption of their normal function, if the basal ganglia are disrupted, there are pretty clear kind of movement behavioral consequences that are visible to others. So the basal ganglia was named by early neurologists. There's a guy named James Parkinson, who identified to some extent the critical importance of these subcortical nuclei, what he referred to as the basal ganglia, in movement, particularly in the timing of movement, the speed of movement, the initiation of movements, the stopping or halting of movements. If you think about your behaviors, your speech, your walking, there's a cadence, there's a timing, there's a specific starting and stopping. Well, all those skilled, timing aspects of movement and initiation and stopping are dependent upon the basal ganglia. So you think about, for example, impulsive responses and efforts to sort of delay or inhibit. The basal ganglia are going to play a very big role in sort of impulsive, driven, motivated sorts of behaviors and the starting and stopping of behaviors. So a critical set of interconnected subcortical nuclei, I want you to know, is known as the basal ganglia. They're in the central nervous system. They are nuclei, but they're all linked together, and they're all linked via the thalamus, with then the cortex. A lot in the frontal lobe, actually, too. They're critically important for the timing of movements, including the starting and stopping of movements. And more we're learning also in the starting and stopping and the speed of thought, of images, of rumination, of thinking. And you think about how that relates. The basal ganglia are deeply involved in a number of important movement-related disorders, but also sort of thought circumstances and issues like anxiety or obsessive compulsive disorder or Tourette's syndrome or Parkinson's or Huntington's, disorders of the timing of movement or the timing, to a large extent,